So, ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please give a rousing round of applause to our ambassador this year, the Miss Sherri Shepherd.
How are you?
I'm great now.
Can I tell you how much I love being here? This is like black girl magic personified.
And I mean,
From Les Magnifiques de Charlie, I didn't say it the right way. And seeing these love, it's so exciting, literally, because when you're in Hollywood, you see the same people all the time, and I get excited to see younger people coming up, a younger generation, coming up in the industry that even does it better. And the world is open, and I look at y'all, and I just go, I'm so excited for what God is going to do in your career. And you're just starting out, and I'm excited to meet people who have vision and dream. I was talking to DC Nash this morning. She was like, Diva, what you doing? I was like, where you should be. This is so amazing.
Oh my gosh, Sherri, so can we get in your business? You can do what you want to do. Listen, whatever you want to do. Sherri, look, okay, so you know what? You just kicked it off. You're saying new people, fresh blood, right? So Sherri, can you tell us a little bit about you? Okay, but here's what I mean. My question is, we all watch these reality shows and people's mama tell them they can sing and they can't. And we have friends who, they say, girl, you look good in that dress, you don't. So it's hard to understand opinions when you're going for a goal. When did you know you were funny, and who was the first person to tell you?
I think everybody in the Shepherd family is funnier than me.
No way.
I just get paid for it. That's what it is.
That makes sense.
Even my twin cousins who are in prison right now, they are funnier than me. When they call and ask for money, they do it in the funniest of way. When they want me to put money on their books, they're even funnier than me. I'm just the one that took it to the level of I get paid to do it.
Wow.
So we just used to always have talent shows, and that's what I would do. Make people. I thought I would be in radio because I would listen to the radio incessantly.
Right.
And it's a dream of mine. I'm a co-host on the Tom Joyner Morning Show on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Kim Whitley, and that's just a dream come true.
Wow.
To do radio. So
so that makes sense. Do you see your story in this? The DNA will tell you what your purpose is in a lot of ways.
From the time I was 4 years old, I never in my wildest dreams thought it would be the path that I've been on, but there was always something there where I liked to entertain. I like being somebody else. Even now, I'll stare at a person, and a whole story is going on in my head about what's going on, and I make up stuff, and I get the very things I used to get a whooping for by my dad, because I zone out, I got this ADD, class clown, I talk too much, and everything I used to get a whooping for, I go, Daddy, I just got a check for doing the same thing.
I love it. So Sherri, let's go a little deeper with this one. Who was the first person that told you weren't funny?
Oh, everybody in Hollywood. I got from people, you too fat, you too this, you're not pretty enough, you are, they need bigger names. I got a lot of that when I started out. It was very discouraging. And I remember there was a manager who wanted to represent me, and she told me all of the stuff that was wrong with me. Wow. And she said, but I think we can do something. And even now when I see this lady, she was pitching something to me, and it was phenomenal because she was pitching something to me.
Wow.
But I didn't let that discourage me. Hollywood is a place that will eat you up. It really will. And I tell people you have to have really good friends. You have to have those girls, your girl and your guy friends, especially I'm a female, so I'm not dissing men at all. But ladies, we have to have other women in our lives. We have to have our sisters who will be that sounding board, the sister that will check us when we need it, the sister that will say, come cry on my shoulder, the sister that lifts us up, because you're not going to be able to make it in this town because it's so many no's and it's so many reasons why you can't. Right. Everybody wants to give you a reason why you can't and why it's wrong.
Absolutely.
Did I answer your question? Did I tell you I got ADD?
She answered all the questions, right? Sherri, that means so much. Let's talk a little bit about the concept of having that that sisterhood.
Yeah.
Because she and I had a chance to talk about this a bit last night, and when we screened Charlie, I'm about to cry, right? Because I have a very strong circle of women. What pains me is that I hear, I don't really get along with women. What?
I can't take that.
What?
It breaks my heart when I hear women go, because women, they like this, and I don't get along with You have to do something on your part, too.
That's good.
If
Walk
you're
us
not
through
getting
how.
along, if you're not getting along with women, and women always this, then I would say, look at yourself. What are you putting out that women are like that to you? Or your circle needs to change. Because you cannot make it without other women holding you down. That is the way we were made to, there's things that men give us. I'm not going to lie,
And I mean.
I remember my daddy told me one time, he was like, all you need is the pastor, your daddy, and God. I was like, no, there's some other stuff I need a man for, daddy. I have very strong friendships with men. But there's something to be said for when you're going through stuff and you call your female friends who are just there for you when you are feeling discouraged. There was a time I was going through a divorce that was so painful that was in the tabloids. And I would call Niecy Nash is one of my bestest friends. We've known each other for 30 years. We would sit on the porch when we had no money and talk about our dreams and giggle. And that's when we both had our real hair. And we would literally, before she had the big flower in her hair, and we would just sit and giggle about what we wanted to do. And can I tell you the number of times at 2 a.m. I said, I need you, friend. And she will come over and lay in the bed with me. And we just will lay there and she will hold my hand and pray with me. You have to have that because it's just, it's so much fakery and so much negativity. So I don't like it when I hear other women say I don't get along. I just go, look at the circle, look at what you're projecting and work on that. That's a healing thing. Wow. That really is. That you can, you got to be able to look at your sister and go, you are good. Right. Like I looked at you and I was like, you need a talk show.
And I was
Jeez Louise. Zakiya.
I still haven't recovered. My soul is still in that hallway.
I did, and it burns me up when people say, we've looked all over and we just can't find. We've seen all of the black women that have come through. No, you haven't, because you haven't gotten out of Hollywood. And I look at you, and I was sitting there, and I'm going, twice I've seen this girl walk up on the stage and give, and your sense of humor and the way you flow, and you ask questions, and you, by the time, look, everybody was sitting here like, can I get the microphone? I got to say something, because you got people to reveal. You make people comfortable, and that you are good. And it doesn't need to be just one black woman with a talk show. It needs to be more. It needs to be new faces.
That's it.
People just got to come out of Hollywood. There are when they say we've seen all the black films. It's not true. Right. It's not, and that's what's so frustrating about where I live. Is that if people would do the work, there are so many bright young minds out here, so many actresses that they have not tapped. I love Idris, and I love Don Cheadle, and I love a Sherri Shepherd, but there's more funny girls, there's more dramatic actors out there, and there's so much room for everybody. Wow. I ain't the only one to get lit. Shoot, I got sciatica problems. There's somebody younger
Sherri said, I
that
would
do what I do and better.
Okay.
They got their baby hair and edges. That can do it. There's somebody coming up in the game that does what I do, and they do it better, and they're funny, and they can do it. I can't get all the work.
I love it, Sherri.
As much as I love to work, but
you do love to work. Let's talk about that. And this isn't the traditional conversation about balance, because I don't know what that is. But here's my question, Sherri. Multiple New York Times bestseller books, sitcom, film, daytime talk show, producing, mommy. I'm not asking you about balance. I need tactics. I need some strategy. How
do you do it?
And I mean how, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing I say is be prepared. Be prepared and take opportunities that may not seem the path that you thought. I never thought that I would be doing The View. I was doing stand-up comedy. I was doing the Jamie Foxx show. I think when I was doing the movie Who's Your Caddy, they were asking for me. I had been I was doing a show called Less Than Perfect with Andy Dick and a couple other people. And I was just trying to get on The View to be a guest to promote the show. And Bill Getty, Barbara Walters' producing partner, kept saying no to me because he said, I don't know if Sherri could sit on the couch and talk for a 5-minute segment. really. But everybody on the show, Eric Roberts, Andy Dick, had been on The View, and they would not let me come on. And and this is the thing, you cannot take no for an answer. Don't take it personally, because Hollywood is a city of no's, because nobody wants to lose their job for thinking outside of the box, and it may not work.
That's
the
a good
thing.
perspective.
People don't want to lose their job, so they tend to play it safe. And so, but I kept, through my publicist, kept calling, because you keep calling, and one day something is going to kick. And unfortunately, Johnny Cochran had passed away, and Star Jones had to fly to his funeral. And I was pregnant at the time, supposed to be on bed rest. And they said, can you come? If you can be out here. It was one of those days that the phone call had come, can Sherri, for the 30th time. And Bill Getty said, if she can be on a plane tomorrow, we'll let her co-host, because they didn't have anybody. And so I remember I was on bed rest, and I asked the doctor, am I going to have the baby in the sky? She said, no, but. I was like, well, then I'm going. And literally,
Say no more.
Up until we came out and said hi, I was in a wheelchair. And I came and sat, and I was so nervous because I was just sitting there, and I was like, oh my gosh, the very thing, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. And so I don't debate, I don't argue with people. I was taught to respect my elders. You can't do none of that on The View. It's debating, it's arguing back and forth. And I was so scared. I was really scared. But one thing I knew, I went on there, and I said, I just got to be myself. That's all I know how to be. I didn't know anything, because Jehovah's Witnesses, we didn't vote. So I didn't know anything about politics. And I just sat at that table, and I just said, I'm just going to be myself. Well, Joy Behar really liked me. And so she said, whenever I'm gone, I want Sherri to sit for me. So they called me back the next week, and I kept going back. And Barbara Walters asked if, she was waiting, and she said, I want you to be a regular on the show. Now, it was very messy, because they hadn't said anything to Star Jones. You still want to want to have integrity in this business. Integrity counts for a lot. People might not work with the best and the brightest, but they work with people that are nice, that have integrity, that they like being around. And so I said no, because it's too messy. And I said no. Star came out and did her announcement, and she left. And they asked again. I believe Rosie O'Donnell was there, and I came.
I remember that, yep.
And auditioned. It was the day Rosie O'Donnell got into the fight with Elizabeth Hasselbeck. And I knew it was some mess going on there, because it was just tension. And I'm speaking in tongues. I don't know what the heck. This is some mess. And the whole glam team is black at The View. And I said, does anybody speak in tongues? And they said no. And I said, all y'all black people, don't nobody speaking no damn tongues. Right. Excuse me, Lord.
But that made sense, and that's how you got to say it.
You just know it's a mess, and then it just blew up at the table with Rosie and Elizabeth. And something made me grab Rosie's boob to lighten the moment. And they liked it. What they liked about me was every news outlet kept calling, wanting me to do an interview about what was going on behind the scenes. And they were trying to decide between Kathy Griffin and I. And they put me on a Thursday on the live show and Kathy on a Friday. And Kathy kept bringing it to the fight, and nobody wants to talk about it. And Kathy did all these interviews. And Barbara said, I loved that you didn't try to make a career out of what went on that day. That's another thing. Keep your mouth shut.
Oh, that's good.
With all the gossiping and the spilling the tea, and I heard, and then that goes a long way when people have good things to say about you. Yeah. And so I wasn't talking about it, and then I think I said I was scared to do it. I was really scared to go on, because everything, I was just scared. And one of my mantras that I live by is, if it scares you, then run towards it. Run towards the very thing that you fear, because blessings are always on the other side. And so a lot of people kept saying, you are going to do well. You know, you're needed. This will be great. A black woman, you get to work with Whoopi. And everybody then built me up. And I remember Eddie Murphy sent me a little note, because I was doing this movie, Who's Your Caddy? He was engaged to Tracy Tracy Edmonds at the time. And so he was on the set, and he said, you need to do it. Ellen DeGeneres had called and said, you should do it. And so I went and did it. And probably the first week said I didn't know if the earth was round or flat. Just because I got ADD. You see, I'm all over the place. And Barbara said, I want to debate my Christian friend. And I said, I don't do no debating. I don't like debating. Immediately fear set in. And I remember sitting at the table, and I'm praying, and I zoned out. And I was trying to figure out who was going to pick Jeffrey up from daycare. Was the milk expired in the refrigerator? And I heard earth round or flat. I heard Whoopi say it. And then I heard Barbara say, but I don't remember what happened. Barbara said, take a little time to enjoy the view. And then at the end, she said, dear, the earth is round. And I said, I know it's round. And she said, well, you said you didn't know. And I thought it was just a brain fart. Bill Maher said I should be raised with a stupid stick. Oh. Bill O'Reilly called me a pinhead. I was the second most Googled person in the United States. It went from black women loving me. They called me down because they do these focus groups. And they said, Barbara said, I don't know what happened, dear. Black women loved you. They hate you now.
Oh.
Because she said they felt that I don't even know if the world was flat or round. It was horrible. I went home and I cried. I said, Father God, why would you bless me with this and let me fall like that? But let me tell you about falling. As long as you can get back up.
Yes.
Sometimes God will let you fall so you can learn some stuff. And what that taught me was get prepared. Start learning about politics. Start learning about why you believe what you believe. I was taught the earth was round. But why do you say that? That taught me to get on my computer and learn about politics and how it will affect my son and I. Yeah. It taught me to do my research before I got up at that table. Everything ain't about, well, God just got me, and I'm going to just sit here and let him do all of the work. Yeah. So me falling, and they got me on the Enquirer with this horrible picture. Somebody took a picture of me eating a cookie. Saying Barbara was going to fight. It was horrible. Wendy Williams said, I remember I was sitting up looking at the TV, and Wendy Williams said, I think Sherri should, a paper bag could replace Sherri Shepherd, and I cried. I cried. I said, how does everybody hate me? And Whoopi, they told Whoopi that I was crying. That's my auntie right there. And she ran in the room, and she said, you look at me. Barbara wouldn't have hired you if she didn't think you could do the job. Look at me. And I said, I can't. You got them glasses on, the sunglasses, Whoopi. She flipped up the lid, and she said, you are sitting here. You can do the job. You just got to believe in you. I can't keep believing in you if you don't believe in you. And that taught me to learn, to research, to do my homework. Yeah. And from there on, and learn to speak up. I was one of the people, I play by the rules. And when, John McCain came, Joy was supposed to ask question number 1. Whoopi's asked question number 6. Sherri, you did number 7. We got up there and everybody going all out of order and asking questions.
Just discombobulated. Oh.
And I learned, okay, pouting don't get you nowhere. Pouting gets you nowhere. Good. You can't. And Barbara called me in her office, and she said, if you don't learn to speak up, I will eat you alive. I learned to speak up. I learned that sometimes everybody don't play by the rules. Wow. Doesn't mean I don't have to do it, but it means speak up. Stand up for yourself, Sherri. Get in there. Right. If you don't get in there, when you gonna get in there? Right. I learned. So the View taught me a lot about learning to speak, learning to get my jokes in there at the table against a Whoopi and a Joy Behar. Right. I learned to grow up. That's what a lot of it is like. Grow up, Sherri. Yeah. Stop being a baby. This is a business that's not fair to you. This is a business that will tell you you can't. Right. This is a business of a woman who will say, read a book, dear. I love Barbara Walters, but she was on me all the time. Read a book. But it made me, I went and read books. Now I can talk to you about politics all day. I love politics. Wow. I was a scared little girl my voice was high. I talk like this Barbara Walters helped me find my voice. Wow. So when people say no to me, I don't care. That means it's on. That's what I look at it as. And those were the lessons that I learned from being on The View, from Whoopi, that's Whoopi. You don't stand up to Whoopi Goldberg, and it taught me to say, no, this is how I feel. Right. And this is my opinion. It matters. It's worth something.
And we see your growth throughout all of your projects and all of your career. And Sherri, there's a film out right now.
Right now. It's out right now.
Right now. Does anyone know the film I'm talking about? That's it.
I just wanted to show the trailer to folks. Can I show y'all the trailer?
Of course
really
you can.
Quickly? I don't think it's very long. Do we have it?
We do.
We just need the sound. Oh. You don't have the sound. Working on it. Thank y'all. You guys are so patient.
He's working on the sound now. But as soon as we watch this, Sherri,
Banks lost 10 years of his life.
We're going to start it over.
I hope I'm in this trailer.
Won't he do it?
He
And let's
will.
watch.
By the time I was 16, I had the attention of the NFL. Don't move! But I was accused of something I didn't do. The system doesn't care about me.
But you didn't deserve what happened to you.
I got a claim. This movie is about a man regaining his life.
At the age of 16 in 2002, I was on my way to USC on a full scholarship, and then I was wrongfully convicted of a crime I didn't commit.
Brian Banks lost 10 years of his life. We have 10 months to clear his name.
Justin Brooks is the founder of the California Innocence Project, helping people that have been wrongfully convicted of a crime.
We look for cases that have potential, and that's what happened when Brian wrote to us when he was in prison.
Justin has a number of students that he works with trying to exonerate falsely accused people.
It's extraordinary that I'm still here. That I'm still standing. My job in this film is to honor Brian and his legacy.
I remember saying to Brian's mother, how did you deal with all of this? And she said it was a lot of prayer.
It's really an inspirational story for all of us to set ourselves free.
This is something that can happen to anybody. Anybody can be wrongfully convicted.
I am innocent, and the truth matters.
It's about lost opportunity, false accusation, and vindication.
This movie is to raise awareness about the flaws within our judicial system, but this movie is also about inspiring people that the only thing that truly matters is what you allow into your life and how you allow it to affect you.
It's not over. I'll tell you what's extraordinary. I am.
That's Brian Banks.
Powerful.
That's Aldous Hodge, who's amazing. That particular trailer didn't have me in it, but it was that was the hardest audition to get because it was
Because
my
you're a
first dramatic
comedian,
lead.
and it's so we're.
Yeah.
So what about? So was there bias in the room?
Yeah, you know, in Hollywood, people like to put you in a box. They like to say if you do comedy, and I don't mind. I completely embrace people. You know, I make people laugh, and I'm the funny girl. I love that. It's just when you tell me I can't do other things.
Gotcha.
And so this one, I read the script, and I was in tears because I said I want to play. I don't typically ask God to give me something. I go, whatever your will is, but I sure would like it. Right. But this one, I said, Lord, this is me. This woman is me. I got this son that I advocate for. He could be Brian Banks. Please, I want this. And they wouldn't see me because they said she can't handle the intensity of it. Brian Banks wasn't even interested in seeing me. He just let me know. I said, so you was blocking me too? So it was one of those ones I kept on my agent. I just said, just let me get in the room and do what I do. And I prepared and I researched and I read all about the story and I did as much as the acting choices and the commitment. And I knew, and they said, Sherri, they're trying to get Viola. They're trying to get Jada. And I'm like, Jada that work at Chevron? What Jada are you talking about?
Which one?
They're trying to get Ingenue Ellis, who's nominated for an Emmy for When They See Us. And these are powerhouses. Yeah. And I said, but they don't have me.
Wow.
And I finally got the audition, and I went in there, and it was the funniest thing. The casting director, Lee Daniels' sister, Leah Daniels Butler, she goes, we've expanded the role of the mother. And I said, that's amazing. She goes, because we're trying to get Viola. And I was like, okay. And she said, now, go ahead, you can begin. And I was like, oh, shoot.
Well.
Hey, Julie is Viola's husband. And then he said, Julius and I used to go to church. Can you give him a hand? We went to church together.
Hello.
We went to the same church together. I knew Julius before he was dating. He walked in with this woman named Viola, and I was like, who that is? Because women were fasting for you. You don't know women have stopped eating since last Tuesday, Julius. You didn't even know that. So they said, because we're trying to get, so when you got these names, when you got a Viola Davis and a Jada Pinkett and Halle Berry, it's intimidating. And then I just had to sit back and breathe and go, but you got to do what you do.
Right.
There's something you got to bring, Sherri. And she said, and we can begin. And I did what I had. That's sometimes you just got to rely on the preparation that you have done. And
Where did you go to embody his mother so that they didn't see Sherri Shepherd, the comedian? Where did you go? And I know that'll help a lot of our actors and creatives here.
I went to the place that I don't put on Instagram. I went to the place of my son was born at 5.5 months. He was 1 pound 10 ounces, and they told me he was going to die. They told me they don't use this word anymore, but they said he's going to be retarded. They told me that he would never walk again. They told me it would be massive surgeries all of his life. I went to the place of where I was going to take him off life support because I didn't want him to go through so much pain. I went to the place where I lost his twin sister. I went to the place of my son being a little black boy, of if somebody had taken my child away from me at 16 years old and I could do nothing about it. that place that you don't like to go to. That was the place that I had to go to of my child. I went to the place of my 2 twin cousins who were taken away from their mother, who are incarcerated. They got incarcerated at 16 years old, and they're pretty much in prison for life. And being at the wrong place at the wrong time and not having enough money for representation, because it probably would be a different story, but they still got a sense of humor. And I went to that place of we don't get to see them. All of that stuff that's down there that we try to go, God is healed, I had to move Jesus out the way and go to those dark places and bring it up fresh and create those stories and lay on the floor and create specific stories in my head of what would happen if they took Jeffrey away from me, who has special needs. And he looks at me and he goes, Mama, I had to go to those places. So by the time I finished the audition, I was sliding down the wall, and I was in a fetal position in the elevator. I know people was like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Because it was so much emotion.
Right.
I didn't hear from the people for about 3 weeks. I thought I didn't get it. It turns out that the director, Tom, had he was cleaning out his computer and found my video. When God got something for you, he got it for you.
Wow.
He has it for you.
Wow.
He was cleaning off his doggone computer and found my video and looked at it. Then I had to audition FaceTime with the producers because they were like, "What? You know, we know you for comedy. That was a great audition, but why would you be?" And then I had to talk about my son again and, go to those places. I know I had gotten it. It's just amazing when you operate, when you do the work and put it together with faith. God will put stuff in place. And the director who directed this wrote Nutty Professor. He's directed Eddie Murphy. He directed Jim Carrey in a lot of his movies. So he knew how to deal with comics. And he said to me, I had to sit on Jim, meaning I had to sit on Jim, the comedic side, to bring up the dramatic side. He said, I think I'm gonna have to sit on you. And I was like, sit on me. I've been waiting for somebody to sit on me all my life, please. And therein I got the part. And that's what I say. You can hear 100 no's. It only takes one. So when people say, when they say to you about your film, that's a hard sell. That's a hard one. She's speaking in French. It's a hard sell. It only takes one person to say, yeah, let's try it. And you can forget about all the other people. So it took the one yes from Tom Shadyac, who's the director, for me to get it. And in Brian Banks, there's a scene, the monologue at the end, where it brings you to tears. And I was supposed to shoot this scene at 10 in the morning. I didn't shoot it till 2 in the morning, about 17 hours. Ooh. And he said to me, this is the scene, Sherri, where you're speaking for every mother who has ever had a child that has been incarcerated. I ain't got a tear. I didn't have craft services, lunch. They done put on 9 different wigs. I done went to sleep. It's 2 in the morning. But you have to rely on the preparation. I was prepared, and I went in the bathroom, and I was praying, and I said, Lord, my God, Tom said, you have to cry. And I said, I don't have any tears, and why would you give me this, and I can't? Because I was one of the ones, if you're an actor, you're sitting there going, I could have did that. I could have did that till you in it. Then you like, I ain't no tears. I would always look at people and go, I could cry like that.
Right.
Then I'm trying to get these tears, and I said, Father God, but I know you gave it to me. Right. You worked it. I know these tears are going to come. And I was sitting there going over the stuff that I had prepared, that I had researched, the stuff that was that muscle memory. And I remember a woman, an extra, walked by, and she was like, girl, I loved you on Dancing with the Stars.
Not the time, ma'am.
Not the time. I'm not Meryl Streep. When I got that feeling, I needed,
yeah.
And I was able to, so if you see the movie, you'll see the scene at the end where I try to get the DA to overturn Brian's conviction, and it does. And I'm gonna step out of myself. It does make you cry, and it was you have to rely on, even if you don't feel it, you're prepared. So when you walk in that room, you may not feel it, you may be scared, but I've prepared for this. I've written before. I have done a movie before. I believe in this film. I believe in my acting abilities. I have done the work. And sometimes that's all you got to rely on is I have done the work. And then those tears came.
Right.
Those tears came. And so that was my first dramatic lead in a film. And then, thank you so much.
Incredible. Will we see more dramatic roles from you?
I would like to do it. I have to say comedy is my lane. I love it. When I was talking to Niecy Nash, I had interviewed her, and she said, because we were in the same lane, Niecy and I, she was Clean House, Reno 911, Soul Man. She said, I'm doing so many dramas now, I'm trying to get a comedy. Because it's very intense doing dramas. This my best friend got about 6 films now, dramatic. She had to have a therapist on set for when they see us, and she's nominated for an Emmy, and I know my baby's gonna win. But, she, she's like, I literally want to go back to comedy. But she's been catapulted into a whole nother stratosphere. So yes, I would like to do more dramas, but where I love making people smile, and I love making people laugh. But some of the opportunities are coming. It's, I can't, they're nice. Oh. But being a mother, sometimes I can't take it. Was one that said, it's Forrest Whitaker, 6 weeks in London. And I was like, Forrest Whitaker, the Forrest Whitaker, 6 weeks in London.
Forrest the Whitaker.
6 weeks in London. And then my son was like, I got therapy appointments, and I got physical therapy and occupational therapy and school. And I was like, I can't do Forrest Whitaker right now. Sometimes you have to know also what your assignment is. And my assignment, I'm a single mother, and my child is always my first assignment. And so when I had to say, no, I can't meet with the producers, but I know that if I fulfill the first assignment that God gave to me, it will come back around. Sometimes things don't come when you want it to, but they come in the right time. And sometimes we're going, but why didn't I? And sometimes it's like, it's not a no, it's just you're not ready. And so for me, I have a son who he needs me right now. So I can't be travasing all over the world doing a bunch of stuff. I would love to. That would be great, but I got a 14-year-old who's growing. He's got a lot of testosterone. He's in the bathroom 3 hours a day doing God knows what. But he needs his mother. Yes. He needs his mother to teach him, it takes time for me to put a village of black men around him to help him be a man. So right now, I can't be in London for 6 weeks. It's not time.
Right.
And you have to be okay with God's timing. Sometimes it's not your timing.
Your perspective is just so refreshing and so motivating, but it's also refreshing to hear you dream out loud. Is anybody else getting goosebumps? The Sherri Shepherd is still dreaming. So my question is, child, how do you know when you've made it? Because we're like, oh, Sherri Shepherd, and you're like, yes, because my next, and I'm like, where's the ceiling, and is there one?
I don't think you ever, I think once you think you've made it, there's a problem. I think when you get up in the morning and you say, thank you, Lord, and you thank him for even the little things, that's what makes you appreciative and humble. Because it's so many places to go. There's so many things to do. When you think you've done it, it's so much, you ain't done it all. Yeah. I mean, literally, I was so inspired watching the film yesterday. I was sitting on the edge of my seat going, Sherri, there's a story inside of you that you've been wanting to write for the longest time. That's that fear of, are they going to want to hear a story about women in their 50s who are having to, do marriage and divorce, and children with autism, and mother having a dementia, and how you find love again? Who wants to see that story? But then sitting there, but that's what so many people are going through. Now they're caretakers for their parents. That's what people are going through. And this is a story that's been germinating. I sit there and I write it, and then it gets too much, and I walk away. And so being here, talking to you guys, and you tell me, I got a story about this, and I got a story. It inspires me to dream, to go, even if somebody don't relate to it, it's in you. And watching yesterday the film, sitting on the edge of my chair going, this is just somebody who had a dream. It was a seed. And they said, I'm just going to do whatever to make it happen. I'm just going to do whatever to make it happen. And women sitting here going, it's my first time acting. But I'm just going to go and do it. And I'm sitting here watching, is it Layla? Whose her heart is so soft. Yes. Who you look like you won't have a nervous breakdown if you got asked one more question. I so felt for you. Yeah. It made my heart glad to see your friend say, I'm going to speak for her because she can't right now. And so I don't think you ever stop dreaming of what you can do, and so there's so much more to do. It's like I saw somebody put a quote, God said, show the world why I created you.
Wow.
Show the world why I created you. So does that mean you done? No. Of course not. It's so much more to do, and so many more avenues that you didn't even think you would go on to get to the place that God has for you. So yeah, I dream. I dream all the time. I'm so inspired being here.
We're
in the
inspired
presence
listening to you,
of
being in
everybody.
your presence.
Thank
Incredible, Sherri. So we're kind of rounding the bend here because
Yeah.
I could listen to her all day, right?
Oh
My gosh, Sherri, we just gonna follow you home. I
Ah!
wanted to let you know
Well, now I'm
that.
gonna call the police on
Please
you, girl.
don't. We'll bring snacks. We'll bring snacks.
Girl, still here.
Okay, here, and we got questions, Sherri. We got questions. So I just want to, because it's so many filmmakers and artists of color in this room, talk to us a little bit about, are you more often reminded in Hollywood that you're Black, or are you more often reminded that you're a woman? And how do they?
That's a really good question. I've had the fortune to play roles where they didn't think a Black woman could do it. Starting with a role on Friends, where I'm Rhonda, and if anybody's ever seen it, I'm Rhonda, and these aren't real. I've had to fight for roles. I think being a woman, having to fight for roles being a woman, and then also being Black, because in Hollywood it's changing a lot, but they didn't necessarily think Black. They didn't. They saw, I mean, if you looked at Friends, you can count on your fingers how many Black ones. Gabrielle Union, Aisha Tyler, and Sherri Shepherd. Gabrielle gave me such a compliment because she said when she had done it, she played somebody's girlfriend, she said, they told me I was the first Black woman. I said, Sherri Shepherd was the first Black woman doing Friends. And it was such a compliment. People just don't think outside of the box. Now they are. When you see but people have to be behind the camera. It's not only about being actors. That's because of Shonda Rhimes. When you see Grey's Anatomy, you see the chief of staff is Black. The head doctor is this. There's an Indian lady playing this. That's because there's a Black woman running the show that goes, let's do some diversity. When you see How to Get Away with Murder, the lead is a Black woman. Then her next show, the lead is a Black woman. It's like because we have people that look like us who are representing us back there.
Wow.
So I think when you say, are you done? No, now you got to strive to, somebody's got to be, we need some more folks behind the scenes who goes, when you're doing this role, what about casting somebody, a Black woman to do it? So I had to fight for things where it's like they just didn't see Black, and I said to my agents, just send me in and let me do what I do. And I've gotten it. It's so funny. I'll have white women come to me all the time and go, I auditioned for that role too, and I didn't get it. And I don't know what you want me to do with that information. Now you know how we feel.
Hello, welcome.
So it has been also. I think it's been both. Right. And so I'm so happy to see Lena Waithe and Ava DuVernay's, and I'm so happy to see Viola and Julius with Juvie Productions, where they say it's about inclusivity. Because you have to have people behind the camera who look like you, who go, let's have somebody that looks like us in this film.
Right.
So it still is a fight. It still is a fight, but I think I love what I'm seeing and the flavor that's been added to TV. I'm liking it. I'm like, who this new person is? Because I used to be known as the white girl that booked all the Black sitcoms. That's how I was known in Hollywood. I had that name. That's the white girl. Because I used to be I used to be known as a Black girl on all the white sitcoms. I know y'all was looking at me like that.
They was working
I was looking at you, I was like, I think I said that wrong. I used to be known in Hollywood as the Black girl on all the white sitcoms. Because if you saw a white sitcom and a Black girl running through, it used to be me. And now it's like there are Black women, there are Black men leading shows, and Claus was written for a white woman. It was written for a white woman, yeah. And somebody had the foresight to say, let's bring in this girl named Niecy Nash to do Claus. And by the way, Niecy held a dinner for all of these actresses. Aisha Hines, who's in 911 with Angela Bassett, and she played Harriet Tubman in Underground, and Brescia Webb and Essence Atkins from Marlon, and me. And it was a bunch of Black actresses, and Niecy brought us all together because we had all done these pilots, and we were praying for them to get picked up. And Niecy had done a little duo cop pilot. We were praying for each other that these, this is why you need people who just gonna hold you down. And we're praying and speaking in tongues, and the waitress is like, oh my God, do you want calamari? Like, what is going on? And we was around the table praying in tongues, and everybody's pilot got picked up except Niecy Nash's. It was this like little get a check cop, sitcom, her and another female running around, little, parking meter cops. And hers didn't get picked up. Wow. Everybody's show got picked up. And she said, friend, I don't know what I'm gonna do. These bills, oh my God. And I said, I know something about to hit, because you prayed for all of us, Nisi. You had that lunch together. And somebody called her and said, we had the script that's been sitting in the drawer for years. Just come in and meet. She booked that job and it was claws. I'm gonna tell you.
Wow.
And she said,
wow.
How I'm on the south side of 50 having sex with everybody. I'm going too long. But I just say that to say that sometimes it seems like, and I bring her up because we've been friends so long, and that's my main encourager, is that girl. And so sometimes it seems like everybody else is getting it. What about me? He has not forgotten about you. There's something, you are going to change the world. You are going to change the world. That's why he put you here. And so sometimes it's not, because you got to be careful what you ask for. Yeah. Sometimes we don't see the story that goes on behind all of the fame and the glamour and the red carpets and the hair going down to your chest. And, there's some stuff that is going on. And so you really have to be careful. You got to ask for, am I ready? Because it's some battles you have to fight. I just bought the rights to a book about the first woman who was given illegal butt injections in Atlanta, and she gave them to celebrities. She went to prison. She got turned in, and I think it's an amazing story. And I literally sat there and pitched it, and I was told, it's a hard sell. Oh, it's really, And I had to say, well, I'm going to have to go somewhere else. These particular people who are representing me, you don't see my vision. Sometimes people will not see your vision, but you got to have that vision and know there's somebody that will see that vision. And in this business, that's what I don't know what I'm saying. I have no idea.
No, but let me tell you what you are saying. You're giving us the steps. She's given us the steps to our next level. Sherri, you have unpacked spirituality. You have unpacked intentionality. You've unpacked relationships.
I'm glad y'all got something.
I feel like I need a degree. I feel like at this point it's time for graduation, just in less than an hour. Am I right?
Can I tell you one thing that just came in my head? When you're negotiating, everybody, don't ever accept the first offer. I just wanted to put that tidbit out there. Message. When you're in negotiation, don't accept the first offer. Yeah. I always believe people have more. Try to get more, because at least try. And I'm going to give you a story. I just did a photo shoot with Ashley Graham, a swimsuit photo shoot. I've been off sugar since March 2018 because I really wanted to make a commitment to my health. My son said to me, because you're a mother of a 16-month-old, my son said to me, I'm a type 2 diabetic, and he said, Mommy, if you die, who's going to be my bodyguard? And I knew that the way I was eating was not, I was 187 pounds. It was not working for me nor for my son. And I made a commitment, and I got off sugar. I've been off sugar, lost 35 pounds, and just committed to my health. Yes. And sometimes God is waiting for you to do the work. And it's like a chess game. You make a move, God makes a move. And sometimes God is just waiting for you because he's right there with some blessings. And I got a phone call to do a photo shoot with Ashley Graham in Anguilla in a swimsuit. And I said, I've never run around in a swimsuit in my damn life. What is a photo shoot? But I was prepared. I had been working out. I had been getting my health together. I was prepared. And I remember, I'm going to tell y'all money that taught me, don't ever accept. They offered me $5,000 to do the photo shoot. Now, it ain't even be in vain. I'm not running around for $5,000 and exposing my belly and my measles marks and cellulite for nobody. And there's a power in saying no. I just want y'all to know there's a power in saying no. Wow. And I said, I can't do it. Do you know the next offer was $65,000?
I'm sorry, wait, that does not compute.
It jumped from, now I'm not saying in every situation that will happen, but you don't accept the first offer. And I said, oh my gosh, well, since I really don't want to do a swimsuit photo shoot, I'm gonna just say no again. Because I really don't want to do this and have people looking at my all of this, and these used to be sitting up. I used to have porno girl boobs before I had that baby, but now they like 2 cantaloupes in a sock. Now I gotta run around in a swimsuit. I said, for craps and giggles, I'm gonna say no because I really don't want to do it. 75. They started out with 5 and went to 75, and they said they're not gonna go anymore. I said, for 75,000, I'll run around naked on the $75 grand. I got to pay for this child's school.
Okay.
And went and did a photo shoot with Ashley Graham, swimsuit photo shoot. In my life, I would never have thought that I would have done that, but I believe God was waiting for me to take control of my health and do the right things. And that was just I'm in a good mood, bless you. I just want to do something that's going to make me smile and make you smile, to show you what I can do. The stuff that you don't even think that I can do, I'm going to do for you over and exceedingly abundantly.
Ephesians
over what you can
3:20.
think
Take
about.
it there, Sherri. Yes.
Sometimes God is saying that you dream big. Expect things from God that you've never expected before. Don't put him in a box. Don't put him in a box. You know, he will never forsake you. He will not. And sometimes God goes, I just got to show you what I can do and give you a glimpse, a snapshot of what I can do. And that's what I have found, that God has done things for me that I didn't expect, in positions that I never thought I would be in, because God went, believe me. Do you trust in me? When they let me go from The View, and I sat there and went, I'm going through this divorce, and I got my child special, and God said, do you trust me? And I said, absolutely not. You be honest with God.
Be real.
His shoulders
Absolutely.
can handle. I was like, he said, do you trust me a little bit? I said, a little bit. I'm hanging on by the skin of my teeth. He said, that's all I need. Do you know I got a call in? They wanted me to do, Will Packer called and said, hey, lady, 2 in the morning, I got a little part in Ride Along 2. I took it. Because I said, Lord, how am I going to work? The View is, and I'm scared, and da-da-da. He said, all I need is a little bit of faith. And I did Ride Along 2. And then they called me and they said, can you come and do Cinderella on Broadway? Kiki Palmer's playing Cinderella. You playing the evil stepmother. You know these people sing on Broadway. I can't sing. I karaoke. That's what I do. I karaoke your butt off. I said, I can't sing. They took away the solo that the evil stepmother had, and they just did, I sang with everybody else in the background. Head up. That's all I had to do. They had Kiki singing my doggone solo. I did a run of Cinderella on Broadway. Wow. I didn't work regularly for 2 years. Can I tell you guys this? And I don't put that on Instagram.
Right.
God
That's it.
will do some stuff for you. And I say to you, don't stop dreaming. Don't, because he's waiting. Sometimes he's waiting for you to make a move. Sometimes he's waiting to get you ready. But when he does, he's not forgotten you. Those deep desires that are right here, he's not forgotten that. When you lay down in bed at night and you say, Lord, what about me? He's not forgotten you. Show the world why he created you.
Show the world why he created you. Thank you for letting us see why he created you, Sherri. Thank you so much. Our ambassador, our motivator, Sherri Shepherd. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Let's hear it for this queen.
Thank you, girl.
Sometimes you gotta let that thing breathe. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Sherri. Thank you, Lord, for Sherri. I want us to marinate on what happened here, because Sherri unpacked so many things. And I feel it in my soul. I know you do too. If you're waiting for...
I wanted to say, I didn't work regularly for 2 years, but I never stopped working. Yeah. God brought in jobs and jobs and jobs, and I never stopped working, and I kept booking things, and the rent was paid, the car note was paid. My baby who has special needs was still able to see his therapist, and I went through it on the internet, and because I was going through divorce, but he never stopped the work from coming in, and that's what I wanted to say. God does not forget about you. All he needs is a little bit of faith. You don't need a lot, just a little.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to go take a nap. I mean, I got to process all of this. Sherri was talking to me. I don't know if she was talking to you. Raise your hand if Sherri was talking to you. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Sherri. So throughout the day today, when it starts like this, I'm telling you, something big is going to happen for all of us. Thank you for ushering in this moment of miracles for us, Sherri. Thank you for that. And so in just a few moments, because I want to give y'all time to breathe and hug somebody and call your mama, because I'm about to go call my mama and be like, Patricia, girl, my life has changed. But in just a moment, Desiree Jones is going to come up, and we're going to go into a screening of Emmanuel. And oh, yes, yes, I feel the same way. Everybody was like, gasp. So before we go into that, and before Desiree gives you some insight about the film, I'm going to give us a chance to just breathe a little bit and connect, because I believe in moving when the Spirit moves. Is that good? Is that okay? So please take notes. Please hug somebody, but do not leave here empty. Take what just happened on this stage, love on it a little bit, and the next voice and glowing, gorgeous face you will see is Desiree Jones to introduce Emmanuel. Thank you, friends.